In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the clone Lieutenant from the Saga Legends line. I'm fairly certain. To be honest, I ended up getting this guy loose maybe 3, 4, or 5 years ago now at this point. Time flies really quick. But he was released multiple occasions. He was originally an Entertainment Earth exclusive, I think, along with the commander, the captain, the sergeant. And this was back around 2005. And this mold here was originally in 2003. And then in the various Saga Legends lines between about 2007 and even all the way up into the Shadow of the Dark Side line, I think. He had multiple releases. So there's a lot of this guy floating around. But I didn't pay very much for him at all. I think I definitely paid less than $10 for him loose. So that's why I can't verify specifically which line he's from. And he's not too yellowed. As you can see, the torso is just a little bit off-white, I think. But this is kind of leading me to believe he might be a later version from the Saga Legends line, because I think some of the earlier ones ended up yellowing a lot more than the later ones. Still, he's a nice clone to have. Happy he's a part of my collection. I still would like to try and get the commander at this time in this mold. I have a commander, but it's the one from the Evolutions pack, and it's slightly different tooling. But these days, even brand new, a lot of the clones in this style, they're a little bit more expensive if you buy them brand new. So we'll see. So on the channel, I think I've kind of talked about this clone mold before. Like I said, it's from, I believe it was the Realistic Clone Wars line in 2003 originally. And it had its share of releases over the next decade, even all the way into 2013 even. And I think it still holds up well. It's definitely one of the top 3 clone molds that Hasbro's made, I think, for realistic appearances, that is. Blue looks good. It's crisp on there. I think the plastic quality is good. I think it might be a slightly different shade. Yeah, it's slightly different shade than the TBC ones here. Might be just a little bit darker. But it's hard to tell. If you look at them from a distance, it's not noticeable at all. I have this guy and the TBC one here side by side on the shelf usually. As far as accessories are concerned, I don't think it really matters which version of this guy you get, whether it's Saga Legends or in a pack or anything of that sort. He just comes with the carbine. And I still have the elastic band around it. Pretty good for a loose action figure. And then if you got him in the 30th anniversary line, he would come with an Attack of Clones coin usually. Or if you got him in the Legacy Collection era, he would have had the weapons locker. Various things like that. Articulation's pretty good. At the time, this was considered super articulation. But he has the ball joint at the head, and then hinged shoulders, elbows, swivel wrist, joint at the torso. Pretty sure, yeah. A little tight on mine. But swivel hips, and then hinged knees and hinged ankles. So really good articulation, way ahead of its time. Well, that's pretty much all I can tell you about this guy. I mean, it's the Clone Lieutenant. But he deserved his own video because he is a unique clone in my collection. I haven't really talked about him so much up until now. One more other thing I'll mention is the 4 dots he has there on his chest, and all these lieutenants have it. But yeah, if this is a guy you don't have in your collection yet, I imagine most people that want him do have him at this point, but if you don't, yes, I would recommend them. And even if you get one loose, it shouldn't be that expensive. Like I said, a couple years ago, I got this guy for less than $10. So he should not be that hard to find on eBay. You can even get into an auction with one, and it probably won't get that expensive. And as far as the blue, red, yellow, or green clones go, I think usually the lieutenants are a little bit cheaper than the rest. I find that the commander is usually the most expensive because I think he's had slightly less releases than the others. Usually the lieutenant and the sergeant, I think, are generally the cheapest between the four. And then the captain, I think, is somewhere in the middle usually. But overall, he's a great clone. Happy to have him in my collection. Happy to have all three versions of these lieutenants here. They're all great figures. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more in the future. There's always more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support. And check out the links in the description if you haven't done so already. And as always, thanks for watching.